I pretty much cleaned up those areas of the brighter sections, and I also hit this area here with my white charcoal stick like that. So now what we can do is switch out to the Prismacolor pencil. I'm going to go back and go top down and put in any lingering detail that I'm missing. This is probably the most important part. Well, I say the first important part is getting the highlights in, but this is the second most important part. Because when you put in those details, your drawing comes to life. See, details equals uniqueness. So if you look at like any subject, anything, and you have like 4 or 5 of the same subject, from a distance they all look the same. Like ants, you know, from our point of view they all look the same. But if you get in there with a magnifying glass, each one has a different set of details, and it gives them unique characteristics, and uniqueness equals, I believe, life. Things are not unique, they're all the same, it's lifeless, you know what I mean? But if you have uniqueness, things are slightly different, exemplified by those unique traits. You get a sense of, you know, I don't know, like a freedom or life, you know, a variety. If that makes any sense. So give it that unique quality. You can kind of go over your white general charcoal pencil with the Prismacolor pencil. It just seems, it kind of skates on there pretty good. So right now I'm going to work on this. To the casual viewer, this is done, but to us rigorous folk, we know that this ain't done. We're gonna really do it some justice. See that? Neat little things like that can go a long way. Notice how I widened this part here. I made it a little bit more fat. Well, you better go over here and do the same. So if you change the shape of something here, make sure you compare it off and do it here too. See that? Whatever it is. If I'm playing with this area here, come over here and check it off here and make sure it's always symmetrical for these type of symmetrical objects. Yeah, I really like that number 8 type thing over here. I kind of want to get some hatching over here. I think it really does something for the drawing. And I kind of want to continue that over here. Really careful about what I'm doing. Sometimes you gotta stop what you're doing, look at your subject intently, look at your subject intensely, and then go back and draw. You have to really know what's happening before your eyes. Holding the side of the pencil to the paper, I seldom, if ever, hit it with the tip. So now we're just doing all this cool detail stuff. And I'm doing that for this part of the glass. Then we're going to come down here and do this part of the glass. I'm going along the direction of the shape. So I'm not just going all over the place. I'm kind of like working out a strategy. I just had this cool idea about making something like the shape of a person or a thing, but create this hatching and cross-hatching network of spider webs. The whole thing. That'd be pretty cool, right? This would be the material to do it in. You know, the only thing that's holding us back is our imagination. Color pencils are neat. You can layer and layer and layer. And you could do a complete colored pencil drawing on this surface. You can even get colored pastel pencils. There's a lot of things you can do, people. This, you know, I just kind of give you a taste. And then the rest is up to you. I hope to do other videos that explore more complex things. But, you know, I'm confident that the little that I have on my channel right now is enough to get you started for, I think, a few years of just drawing, you know. Like, you should have drawn an immense number of objects from life as you approach your, like, third year of drawing. You don't want to just take a drawing class and say, okay, now I'm going to just do all this stuff, you know, like how I used to draw before I took a class. You got to take something from the class. You got there's something you could take away with you. Oh, I learned something. I hope that you can with me or with other serious drawers and painters and stuff. You're going to get something if you allow yourself to receive it. It's hard to break old habits. I'm no one special. I had to go through all that. And I probably still am breaking old bad habits. That's what I see. And what's really cool is, like, this side of the glass, right? It's a broken line. That's so cool. It's so delicate. I think that you should really push that in the medium. It's so delicate. It's one, you know, displacement of an area, you know, and you get like that just the whole thing just falls apart, you know. One displacement, and then there's diminishment. Again, I'm not just randomly drawing, folks. I know what I'm doing. This area is a little bit brighter than this area. And then it continues with that philosophy over here. See that? I'm not making any of this stuff up. Now, what do we do about the background? I think I'm going to do a conservative approach with the marble. And I do mean conservative. So first of all, I want to indicate the shadow that our glass is casting. And I'm going to implement some kind of a vignette like that. And that's going to go from light and then to dark like we usually do with the other drawings. And this is going to be interesting. You got to squint here and just try your best. There's also like a crack or a vein. There's also a vein in the marble like that. So I think it's good to indicate like some of the main features. There's like a vein here and one there, and that's about it. So I'm going to start here and kind of fan out. How are we going to do this? Well, obviously I made a mistake if I'm going to incorporate the background. Now you could have probably have started with the background first and then move into the foreground. Why didn't I do that? I don't know. Maybe I just want to show you that you can do it the other way. So we did it the other way. There's nothing in the marble that's as bright as the highlight of the glass. So obviously, sort of messed up. Which is why we do want to have the white charcoal, not just the Prismacolor. Now I know that you can do all of this with Prismacolor. You can. You just got to plot it out that way. But I like slipping and sliding a little bit with the white charcoal. That's just me. And when I do my classes, I always, like, I have students in the beginning class do a bunch of charcoal drawings, and then the intermediate class I do pastel drawings. But that's just how I do things. There's so much more to drawing. You know, you can do pen and ink, mixed media, drawing on alternative surfaces. Like, how about doing a drawing on a newspaper, you know, modeled on some paneling? There's all sorts of neat things we can do. Well, something like that. I'm getting that shape there. So you see how we're doing this? How high do I want to bring this? Not too much higher than what I have. Like, I don't want to go up there. I just kind of want to have the part where it's touching, it's resting on the marble. I want to emphasize that. And then of course it needs to be smoothed out a little bit. You might even be able to get away with your pinky. When nobody's looking, I'm always using my pinky. It's kind of neat like that. And of course we can reinforce that with this. When using this material, you have to really avoid that smudginess. Like everything you do, hopefully it should contribute to the main plot of the story. Sort of like the Edgar Allan Poe technique of writing a story. You know, everything in here has to be contributing to the overall visual plot. So if you have a smudge here or there, you know, what's that doing there? Is it meant to be there? If not, you might want to get rid of it. I think it's supposed to be a vein, this black mark here, or black area, that's really not a mark. It's an unmark. How do you make a mark without making a mark? That's how you make a mark without making a mark. So the shape's a little bit off, but I still think we can do it. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. We got it. It's a little inconsistent because this other area is not done yet. But trust me, it will look good when we're done. I'm doing that vignette technique where it sort of disappears into the background. Some of you might get adventurous and put like a moon with clouds back here, you know? That might be cool. You start getting creative, like that's where you start getting creative ideas. You know, you might even have a significant other say, hey honey, why don't you put a moon over there? Make it more interesting. Hey, that's a good idea. You know, sometimes somebody who doesn't really do art might come in and give you something that is just like fresh. Because they're thinking out of the box without knowing it, because they don't do this. Like we're so intent on drawing this class, we're not thinking about putting a moon up here, you know. Heck, I might want to do that. Okay, here we go. Now I do want to show you this. Like, look at what you can do with this eraser. You can, you know how you take charcoal on paper, black charcoal on white paper, and you use the eraser to pull out the white areas? Well, you can do that to pull out the areas that are to be dark. Like there's another vein right here. And I did it. I drew the vein by pulling it out with my eraser. You see that? So yeah, there's a lot of neat things to be said about this. So I'm going to do a couple more areas here, and I'll show you what I got. I think I did a disservice because I didn't show you everything that I did. So what I did was I made some path strips with my white charcoal pencil, and then I blended it with my pinky. I'll be honest about that. And then I hit it with this, like that and like that. Basically horizontal and then vertical motions, like that. See that? And then I came with the eraser, and I did want to show you this, and I did the subtraction in reverse style, like that. See that? We can appreciate that when we see it. So you are seeing it in real time. There we go, see that? What's really cool is then you come in here, there's this little glow. Right here, it's glowing. And then check this out. And it continues to glow like right here. Like that. Really neat kind of a thing happening here. See that? It's glowing. Pay attention to those little details. Try not to leave any of that stuff out. Sometimes a drawing like this will require to do it in 2 days. You finish what you think is done, sleep on it, come back, and you'll realize, oh, I missed a spot. So now I'm going in with my colored pencil, my white Prisma colored pencil. See that? I intend to put as much detail as I see in this thing. I'm not, like, to some of us it's done, but nah, I really want to do it justice. You know, really pay attention to the fidelity of the subject. See that? Neat little things. This is a little piece of a bird's nest. So I decided to draw it in there. And there's like a little speck of something there. Sometimes it's like to hit it with my pinky. See, like you can do this with the eraser. So you can pull it out. And then you come back with your blender. So the rest is just doing all this detail work, but I'm not done with the marble just yet. We're almost there, but not just yet. Not yet. This area here, I don't know, like I can kind of like a spotlight effect is what I'm after. And I like the Prisma color white. This is where I like to really indulge in my little details. there is a little bit of a reflection of the glass on the marble. Pretty neat. And what's really weird is sometimes the reflection doesn't correspond to what's on here. Like, you can't just like take something like this and then Photoshop and flip it like that, the reflection. That's just not how nature works. There's always some weird thing that's unpredicted, unpredictable. Because it's three-dimensional stuff, and the perspective continues and the reflection. It's not just a cutout and you flip it like that. It just doesn't work. You can't just mirror it and, and it does 70% of the time, but that's about it. So that's why I like sometimes when it doesn't seem to line up, but it is from the glass, and that's what I see. It's really cool. I see that there's more of that going on, so I'm really trying to get that reflection in there. Pretty neat. Kind of want to really show you what I'm doing with this marble. White Prisma color is what I'm using right now. The white charcoal is great for laying down the idea and then hitting with these glowing areas like that. Like that right here. That's what the white is good for. The white charcoal is good for. Like, this is more bright than what I'm giving it credit for. So I'm gonna cake that in there. You see that? Careful not to do the tip. I'm kind of cheating, but I got it. I got it. There we go. Sometimes you gotta get in there, but I really try to stress doing it like this. Believe me, art is not procedural at all, but when you're doing like these kinds of things, yeah, you should have a procedure. There we go, you see that? It's getting there. I want to go back into the glass in a minute. I'm just trying to finish up the marble. I think that what we're trying to do is finish up the marble. And I think that I might want to do a little bit more here. It's really neat because the stuff that's happening right here looks like a letter Y, a black Y, kind of coming in like that. Well, that's what it looks like. There's things that you'll get from life that you'll never be able to imagine. Like, if you're trying to create this from your imagination, you might not get that letter Y, you know. And see, and they, you know, that saying is so true. You know, like, truth is stranger than fiction, you know. So like, that's why you want to do some naturalistic drawing where you're drawing from life. It's just because the little things that are going to happen, it's just like, wow, that's strange, you know, because of this is happening, you know. It's kind of neat. Now I'm going to show you a little trick. It's like a 2B black charcoal pencil. Look what we can do. With this black pencil, I can come in here and sort of tease the white areas. See that, how I did that? But you don't go all over, man. You're gonna mess it up. Don't do that. Be careful. I tease a slight little outline, kind of bring that out. See how we are able to do this? It's pretty neat, huh? Come here like that. That's good. That's why make sure your black paper is black. Make sure of that. Like, see, I can just come over here and I can do this. It's really neat what I can do. But be careful, like, I'm not going to color all this area black. I'm just going to come in with little areas that need it. You definitely want to wait till the end. We're nearing the end. Be patient and wait for the end before you hit it with this thing. I could have used an eraser to pull this out, but you get these effects that you might not be able to get otherwise. I got a little bit of a gray area there. I think it looks pretty cool. Here too, a little gray. Not too white, make it more subdued. See that? Now we're going to go back and do the glass. There's more that has to be done with the glass. I'm not saying that we're completely done, but we're getting close. We're 80 to 90% done. And the lips is kind of bugging me. I'm telling you, you know. And so don't let that happen to you, people. I'm not going to change it too much, but I'm just going to kind of, you know, play with it. There's so much cool stuff going on in this class. What a neat project you can do. This also works with seashells too. You'll have a good time with that. I can safely say we're going to revisit this material and do other kinds of things. I can almost assure you that I will be doing that. Okay. Let us venture back into the glass like this. This is a 2B charcoal pencil. Like here's an example. I can come over here and just like find something that bugs me and say I'm gonna fix that. Like this right here, I don't know. It needs to be messed with just a little bit. And then here, there's a little bit of a black or dark gap right there. It's just a little detail that you probably don't have to draw in there, but I'm just a stickler for that. Kind of just put that in there. So you can get that in there with this technique that I'm showing you right now. Sure, you could use the eraser. So you have choices, you know, you have choices. Here I've noticed that, now I noticed that there's a little bit of a thing like that. I didn't see that before. And then here, This will make me run for my money because I haven't done a drawing on a black surface for, I would say, 2 or 3 semesters, something. Because I did a little demo, and that was it. And like I sometimes rotate my projects around. And this is the one that I seldom do, and it's like the perspective, you know. I tend to avoid it, and so not today. What are you gonna come up with? What are you gonna draw? And I recommend you do what I'm drawing, you get what I got and draw it. Even like that bird's nest, you can order that on Amazon or something. Go to Michael's, they might have that. Like, get what I have and draw, you know, draw it. It doesn't look exactly like mine, but you know, right, like here you get any glass. This is a wine, this is your standard, generic wine glass. And then you go off and do your own thing. See how that is? It really... It's really coming along. Yes. A nice little drawing here. And I want you to see, like, all the stuff that I'm doing. To the lay person, it's been done a while, but not for us. We're getting more advanced than a lay person now, you know. Follow all my videos, you're getting a little bit more advanced in your drawings. At first, you're going to say everything is fine, but then after a while you go, well, no, I can do that better, I can do that better, I can do that better. Hold on, let me fix it. So here we go. It's looking pretty good. I pretty much completed the drawing, but I didn't do anything technique-wise that you have not seen. The trick up my sleeve, I think, was the charcoal pencil. So right here, there's a little thing that I didn't do. And I'm going to put it right here right now so you can actually see me throwing it in. See that? So with the charcoal pencil, you can do that. And I recommend a 2B. So right now, I'm going to do a couple more little areas like that. See that? Oh, what's this? I included a moon. It just looks kind of cool, right? You see, and the moon doesn't take over the subject. This is the subject, and this is what I call the secondary subject. And so when you have a main subject and a secondary subject, you create more intrigue in your drawings. So right now we're just going to finish it up by doing the last few passages. You see that? Last few passages. You can see me as I really finish up this puppy. There's always something more I want to do. And you should have that feeling like, oh, I want to do more, I want to do more. But the trick is you don't, you stop. The trick is you say, okay, I want to do more, but I think it's done. You know, and then like I've had, you know, that told me a lot of times, you know, painting is never done. You just continue with the next painting and the next painting and the next painting. You can never get it all down on one canvas. You see that? Or on one drawing. Always searching. Like, I wonder, like, this little thing lifting up there like that, I don't know if I need that. It just kind of, you know, it kind of distracts me, so I got rid of it. You see that? And you can either erase it to make this go like this, or I can draw it in with the charcoal pencil. So you see how you can play with these choices. And then this thing can kind of creep over here, and it just kind of stops here. And then this kind of comes in here like this. Like that. With this pencil. So you can kind of go back and forth. So I'm doing the last passages. And I want you to see this in real time. Hope I'm not in the way. Just seems like there's so much more I want to do with this drawing. Let's see. Just really trying to pay attention. And what I want to do, last but not least, is a couple of little specks, little sparkles. Like, it's kind of neat because they almost remind me of stars. And you have the moon, you know, like the stars, the night sky. You know, all sorts of neat little things could be coming in here. Analogies. See that? Like if you see a little speck, put it in there. It's so cool. It might be a little bit too bright. No, that's what I see, so that's what I'm going to do. It almost looks like it's slanting, but it's an optical illusion, people. What I do on this side, I kind of recreate on this side. You see that? Always be attentive to that kind of part of it. Always be attentive to that factor. Okay. I wanted you to see this, you know, the little nuances. Like when I think I'm done, then I'm going to do a little bit more, but not kill it. Don't overdo it because you kill it. Just do a little bit more here, a little bit more there. What's really interesting here is there's a window behind me, and this round thing here represents my head. So I'm actually a part of the drawing without knowing it until just now. Okay, that just about does it. And I hope you got something out of this video.